Well, hello and welcome back. And one downside to editing videos in October that were recorded in June is that sometimes you accidentally delete your intro clips. However, without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, so we're actually going to start our tour up here on the tongue. This is a 30-pound, or I should say dual 30-pound propane tank cover. It's actually one of the new style ones that's a lot softer. It's going to be more resistant to cracking under impact of, let's say, rocks being flicked up from the vehicle or just in general temperature cycling. However, it's important to note that the trailer is only equipped with dual 20-pound propane tanks. All things considered, I think that's perfectly acceptable. However, they did only include the central rod long enough to accommodate 20-pound propane tanks. Should you want to upgrade to dual 30s, you will need to then source an additional longer rod. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's move around the side. So the next point of interest that I would like to include here on the exterior tour is this right here. It's labeled hot and it has the Truma branding on it. And what this is the exhaust for your central furnace. What's really important to note here is, and I'm not sure if this will pick up on the camera, but this is plastic. The reason it is and can be plastic for that matter, as opposed to that silver tube with the black surround, is because how energy efficient this system is. It actually operates on a tube-in-tube design, which functions as a heat exchanger. So as the hot exhaust gas is flowing out in the center, around the outside is that cooler air entraining inwards. And what that does is that hot exhaust air sort of preheats the intake air, which then, increases in efficiency because you're not reliant upon obviously burning more propane for that. And it also cools down the hot exhaust such that, again, this can be a plastic material as opposed to a metal. So it speaks to the efficiency. I believe it actually is quoted as being 96% efficient. I don't have any context for you, but I think that that's pretty darn good in my opinion. So next up, let's head inside. All right, so coming in the trailer, we're actually gonna make our way down this end towards the fridge. I'm gonna show you why right here. So beneath the refrigerator, we find this. This is the Truma Vario Heat. Now, you may notice, obviously, that the cover is missing. And that's actually for a different reason that I'll encourage you to go check out the video. I think I'm gonna title it something like Vario Heat Fire Hazard or something like that. Nevertheless, what's important to understand, very important to understand if you are considering an FLX package model, is the way Winnebago has equipped this trailer from factory is with only one outlet into the coach. Now, it is a small enough trailer that one outlet is more than sufficient. However, unlike the original, this does not duct into the underbelly and provide a heated enclosed airspace for your tanks and lines from freezing. So yes, you heard me right. The upgraded model that is designed with more feature set for off-grid is less capable in terms of camping in cold weather. Both the non-FLX and the FLX do come with 12-volt tank pad heaters, but that's really just designed to keep the actual water tanks from turning into a big block of ice. It does not provide sufficient heat output as to prevent the actual lines themselves from freezing. Moreover, you will experience a very cold floor. So keep this in mind. I'm going to reserve judgment from this video as I do have some strong opinions about this, but it is important to note. Now, grabbing my cheat sheet here, I do want to make mention that the actual Truma Vario Heat furnace is said to have 3 heat output levels. On the night mode, it's 4,700 BTUs. Level 2, 8,900 BTUs, and level 3, known as Boost, 11,500 BTUs. So this is, again, automatic power levels, but as we'll see with the control panel above, get it right here, there are 2 user selectable settings. Actually, maybe that's a good segue to cover that now. All right, cool, let's do it. All right, so like the heater ducting or lack thereof into the enclosed underbelly, this is my second source of, let's call it friction with this system. This is the Truma CP Plus control panel with a very deceiving iNet ready labeling we'll get to in a minute. Right now you can see that the furnace is set to 20 degrees, but we're actually just going to go ahead and turn the furnace off. So that's fine. Now, if the furnace were on, let's just say at 5 degrees, we would then scroll over to the fan. We have auto, which again, we discussed those 3 heat output auto levels. There's your night mode, that 4,700, and that is it. So it's either auto or night. Now, in order to gain access to the air conditioner, we're going to have to turn on the inverter. So I'm going to do that now, and we'll watch as that appears. So now, if we go over to the temperature, we have heater or air conditioner. So again, the air conditioner does run on 110 volts here in North America, but the inverter spec'd on this trailer is large enough that you can actually run your air conditioners.
Future Colin here again. So unknown to me at this time is that while it 100% is true that the air conditioner can run off the inverter and battery, and that whole system was designed to do so, it will actually deplete the battery at approximately 1% per minute when operating on that high output air conditioner mode. So while it can be done, just know that's what it's going to take. All right, back to your regular scheduled programming.
I'll also take this opportunity to mention that this logo right here is how we control our water heater, but that will be in a separate video. So stay tuned for that. Now, I did mention this Truma iNet Ready sticker here on the side. The iNet, speaking to Truma, is just Truma's branded system integration technology. So that refers to the CP Plus being able to control the Truma VarioHeat heater and the Truma Aventa air conditioner, as well as the Truma AquaGo water heater. So that's that iNet. But it's super misleading in my opinion, because in Europe only, users can either add an iNet box to get cellular connectivity where they can control all their appliances from the Truma app remotely, which I don't know why that's not here, because I would put forth a lot of North Americans go camping with their dogs. So should you be going out maybe for a quick mountain bike ride or down to the beach where you can't have the dog and you want to leave it in here, set the air conditioner at a pre-selected setting so that it will cycle on and off to maintain that, you know, appropriate temperature for the dog. We can't do that here. So that's genuinely disappointing. There is also the iNet X and iNet X Pro control panels, also only available in Europe. And that is really what I would want. Well, actually, I want them both, but that is a touchscreen interface that appears to be much more user intuitive, less reliant upon little graphics. Weirdly, though, more misleading language there, because the Pro only refers to when it's fitted from factory. It's an OEM option. The non-Pro is just the user upgrade from the CP Plus, which is what this is. So just like CP Plus is advertising iNet, which is actually a product, but they say it's a terminology, the Pro is not actually any more Pro. It's the exact same as the non-Pro. It just came with your trailer. So I'll let you be the judge in the comments. Now, perhaps the reason we don't have that iNet and iNet X Pro control panels here in North America is because they are not compatible with the Truma AquaGo water heater systems. So not sure why that is. I feel like that would be a fairly easy fix from Truma's perspective. All right, we are going to move on to ventilation, which is actually just more than the Truma Aventa. And in fact, I'm going to take a step back and talk about what's over my head now. Now, I apologize for obvious filming logistical challenges. However, above me here are 2 roof vents. Now, they may appear questionably close together because, well, they are, but they do actually serve a purpose in these locations. Now, I can demonstrate that by simply unhooking and closing the bathroom door here, because we can see that the one located in the bathroom would be to exhaust, let's say, undesirable air or odor in here, whereas the one located forward is actually going to, I think, intend on circulating air as well as providing some indirect ventilation for the cooking surface. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I have been somewhat critical of the fact that there is no over-the-range exhaust fan, and I do a lot of indoor cooking. And so that inherently poses a challenge of not only odors, heat, CO2 from burning propane, but also moisture, which is the last thing that we want in our RV camper trailers. Both fans are identical. They are manually operated. They do open up a fairly good angle. However, there is no rain cover. Now, weirdly, I actually don't think that that's a bad thing. And I'll explain that perhaps in a future video. But for now, just understand that without a rain cover here, these will inherently not be able to operate in any sort of, well, really rain conditions. And of course, there is only a unidirectional fan here that I'm sure it means well, but probably doesn't or is not the most effective solution. I've seen computer fans about the same size as this. This is entry level. There are more premium options on the market, and that's where I'm going to discuss actually why you may not want a rain cover. So keep an eye out for that video in the future. But for now, like I said, just know that operating this trailer in the rain will inherently pose challenges for moisture management, especially if there's any wind involved, because then we won't be able to cast our awning out to provide coverage over the actual kitchen windows. But let's move back in the trailer and talk about the air conditioning. So I've spun you around here to give you a slightly different backdrop. We're now facing the front of the trailer. And I'd like to point out the air conditioner here, which is the Truma Aventa Eco. Now, keeping with Truma's interesting nomenclature, the Eco is not any more eco than the non-eco. It just simply refers to a lower BTU output. I believe this is either 11,500 or 13,500. I'm going to put that on the screen flashing right now. I do apologize, I don't have that in my notes. One of its main selling features is how quiet this is. Now, I'm not going to run it at the moment because there's quite frankly no need to. It's perfectly comfortable temperature in here. However, I have run it before as a test, and compared to other branded air conditioners, I will 100% say it is exceptionally quiet compared to those. In fact, those other ones, you have them on only as long as you kind of have to, and then you just sort of turn them off and you know, manage the temperature as it is. What is interesting to note here is that in order to achieve said quietness, the actual air conditioner is encased in a noise-absorbing EPP foam. So that's the same foam used in bicycle helmets. The compressor itself is actually mounted on shock absorbers, and the copper piping is spaced out as to prevent vibration against each other. So that's really cool. You know, something I really like. Now, you may have already seen my short that I put out, which was calling all Truma Aventa Eco and non-eco owners, and that is in regard to a soft start technology. So this is being recorded in June of 2024. And as of about a month ago, Truma has started doing a running change on the Aventa and Aventa Eco air conditioners to include soft start hardware. They also are offering it as a Truma installed upgrade. However, again, I don't know if there's a cost associated with that, but that's not your biggest challenge. All of the installation locations that they're offering are either like Indiana or Arkansas, very southern US. So if you're in the Northwest US or north of the entire country of United States of America, like us in Canada, there's not a single Truma center that is authorized to install these soft starts in these units. Now, Why might that be important? Well, that is because it reduces the startup startup amps from 59 amps to 30 amps. And that's really important because of your ability to run this on an inverter. So this is all factory equipped. This Winnebago trailer, as we know, came equipped with a 3000 watt Xantrax XC Pro true biphasic sine wave inverter. That again is 3000 watts and very unique actually, and credit to Xantrax where credit is due, is that their peak, so that is the less than 5 second peak load on that inverter, is actually 6000 watts, so twice the baseline. Most 3000 watt inverters that I've seen only can do 5500 watts for their peak less than 5 second draw. But if we do the math, 59 amps works out to 7000 watts. So this is actually not receiving enough power from the already very capable Xantrax inverter as spec'd by Winnebago. By reducing it down to those 30 amps on startup, 30 amps equals 3600 watts at startup. And Truma has actually told me that they have tested this air conditioner as far down as a 2000 watt inverter. So using some armchair math, if it's, let's say, another Xantrax XC Pro inverter, 2000 would be 4000 watts. So this is would only be consuming 3600, and thus that 2000 watt inverter would be more than capable. So important to note, I am still advocating Truma. Some emails have been sent, more emails will be sent, because I'd not only really like to get this equipped on my trailer as to prevent from doing damage to the electronics, but also because I really want to bring that to you. Maybe, hopefully, Truma at some point might make it a user upgradable or user installable upgrade, but until now, it's very, very limited. So that covers the unit itself, but I want to take a step back further and explain something more to you. So taking a look overhead in the sleeping area of this trailer, we can notice that there is no ducting. And this was actually very confusing. In fact, I only just recently finally got a definitive answer why this is the case, because Truma on their website for the Aventa air conditioners advertises that it is compatible with ducting systems. However, when I was looking at this trailer, much to the same sense that Winnebago is not installing a duct into the tanks area to make this a more capable trailer, similarly, you lose, by upgrading to the FLX, the air distribution system. Now, I think there was two here, or maybe one here, one in the bathroom. I honestly, please forgive me, I don't remember exactly. But I personally really like that, because if the name of the game is efficiency, then we want the most efficient distribution of air. Thankfully, once more, this is a smaller trailer, but that, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily negate that. So whose sort of quote-unquote fault was it? Well, when I inquired with Winnebago, they said, well, no, it's not compatible with a ducted air conditioner system. And it was only actually just a couple weeks ago when I was speaking to Truma that they acknowledged that that is on the website, and they are currently working toward that, but as of present, it's not actually available. So it's no fault of Winnebago's, because they were only working with the tools and equipment that they had when they manufactured this trailer. Again, still small trailer, still very effective, but as a consumer, it is a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, knowing that you are inherently losing features as you're upgrading in the trailer product itself. So I do look to Winnebago in the future to duct the Truma Aventa, but as of present in 2024, for 2024 model as this is, not available. All right, so the 2024 Winnebago Micro Mini FLX. Some closing thoughts. It is very nice to see all these Truma appliances, irrespective of how they may have been implemented, whether that was decisions by Winnebago or limitations from Truma. The reason why I say this is because I genuinely do believe Truma have an excellent reputation when it comes to quality, design, and performance, etc. Personally speaking, I've been thoroughly pleased with the performance of all the appliances, irrespective of their implementation. I do obviously look to Winnebago in the future in terms of how they integrate these products to make sure that consumers don't feel like they're getting less or in some cases that with regard to the Vario heat itself are getting less. So that is something that I would personally like to see rectified, and it's also something that I am going to be actively working on rectifying myself, because as I've alluded to, as you may have seen in the first trip video, it is a feature that is very, very important to me, not just because of how I intend on using this trailer, this product, but also the environment that I live in. As beautiful as this backdrop is, and it really is, there's still snow dotting the peaks of these mountains. So it does inherently get cold at night, and we have such a short camping season that if you want to use this trailer in this area more than 2 months of the year, I actually need that capability. It's not even a want. I will wrap it up by saying this. The actual performance, again, of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system is perfectly acceptable in summer months. I'm not actually super upset about the lack of rain shields, because that actually means cost savings on the consumer, because I think there's a much better and more definitive solution, especially keeping in mind how this for which demographic, I should say, this Winnebago Micro Mini FLX product is targeted. So again, I encourage you, if you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. I know it sounds like I'm being cagey, and I guess I kind of sort of am. It's not really my intent, but I'm just trying not to get too deep into tangents in one video, and just try to do my best at staying the course and keeping on topic. So anyways, enough rambling for now. I'm about to pack up here and head home. So if you haven't already, be sure to check out this trip video. This was an amazing spot, and I 100% look forward to coming back. In the meanwhile, thank you very much for watching. I sincerely do appreciate it. If you have any questions about the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system on the Micro Mini FLX, please let me know in the comments down below. As I've said before in many videos, and I'll say again, I am not an RV expert, but I do intend, or aspire rather, to be an expert on this product. So again, you take care, and bye for now.